Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheen Aljami out of Atlanta, Georgia here. But each and every one of you are very important. And you could give us a call, 508 924 3521 508 924 3521. Give us a call. We'd definitely love to hear from each and every one of you today. Want to ask you a question. They're talking about um, North Carolina and a couple of other states. My home state, North Carolina, and a few other states are saying that they want to take off race applications for colleges and jobs and different things of that nature. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's a necessity? They're saying that a lot of our Oriental brothers and sisters are saying that they're getting a bad take in regards to that, and they really should take it off because minorities and different people of that nature are getting a pass. They're getting a pass when they look at the race and things like that. And I just want to know what you all think about that. 508 924 3521. Should race be taken off the applications for college, for jobs, for other things that are needed? There's always a space. There's always a box about race. What race are you? Are you black, white, Indian, indigenous, whatever it is, Latino, whatever it is? They always have that box on there for race. So what the argument is today, and it's been going on for about a week now, for about a week or so now, they're saying that that box should be omitted. That box should be omitted. They shouldn't even ask you what your race is. What do you think about that? And what would that open up if they were to take that box off? What would that open up in regards to how people don't accept it? People are invited in or whatever. Would that make a difference? Or if some people will say, well, if they got a name like Mipipla, they know that that might very well be a black person. Or if they have a name like Susan or John or Paul or something like that, that may very well be other one of our Caucasian brothers and sisters. And so but the argument is, and I don't know how I feel about it just yet. And so I want to hear from each and every one of you as well. Give us a call, 508 924 3521 508 924 3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about that. Should race be taken off the application? Hold on for a minute. I'm multitasking here. Got it. Okay. Um Discrimination. People talking about, people are being discriminated against because they have that box on there. They look at that particular box and they make their determination from that box. If could that mean if you're African American, black, whatever the verbiage is, you could be omitted from a situation, or you could be added because of affirmative action and things like that. Some people that may not deserve to be in will be able to get in because of affirmative action, because you have to have a certain amount of minorities, if you will, in certain positions. So could a person that's more qualified be omitted from that because of the fact that they are not black or African American or Latino or something of that sort? What do you say? There's so many different lanes on this thing. I would like to know how you feel about that. Good morning, good morning. 508 924 3521 508 924 3521. Give us a call. Let us know what you think about this. Should it be added? Should that race box be added? Should it continue to be added, or should it be taken off? What's on your heart? Good morning, Donna. Donna, give us a call. 508 924 3521 508 924 3521. Donna, give us a call. What do you think about that? That race box, the box for race. Should it be added into the applications, admission for applications for admissions, for jobs, or what have you? Should it be added or should it be omitted? Should it be taken off? 508 924 3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. I'm gonna tell you something. Right now, I'm up against the fence right now. I really am. I'm up against it. I don't know. I know that if you do take it off, if you do omit it, it could open up a whole different can of worms. It could open up a whole different can of worms that some people may not be ready for. Because if you take it off and you totally omit it from the equation, that could a lot of discrimination could go on because you do not have it there. If they have to look in, if they have to affirmative action, what a part of what that was making sure that everybody had a fair take. Did it work? Some say yes, some say no. Some say it did not work at all. Some say it gave people that were not qualified, that were not adequately qualified, opportunities. And so my thing is, what do you all think? I'm very curious to find out what you all think about this. Again, 508-924-3521. Hope my phone lines are working. Give us a call to make sure the phone lines are working. We had a little difficulties with them yesterday. I got a little cold, y'all, so y'all bear with me, man. I'm a little stuffed up. And not necessarily that I have a cold. My wife had that doggone fan on last night, and I cannot sleep up on the fan. I wake up like this every time. When I sleep up on the fan, I wake up like this every time. I can give me natural air. Turn the air conditioner on. Turn the air conditioner up. But a fan that's blowing air, man, I wake up, man. I'm gonna have to get on her about this too. I can't come before y'all like this. How can I come before y'all like this? She like the fan. I do not. I don't like that fan. To see, so how I'm stuffed up right now, it'll go away in about an hour or so. It'll go away. I'll be clear as a crystal ball, clear as a crystal ball. But right now, I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's terrible with me. What do y'all think about Kanye? Is Kanye getting a bad rap? Is Kanye is there any facts in what Kanye is saying? What do you think? 508 508 924 3521 508 924 3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about Kanye. Kanye don't know what side he want to live on. And that's my main issue with Kanye. He'll flip artist. Oh yeah, he'll flip on you now. One moment Kanye is on your side. Next minute, not so much. Kanye don't flipped on you, and you trying to figure out what the world is going on, what is going on. Kanye, I thought we were together, brother. What happened? Well, Kanye is a flip artist. A lot of people say that Kanye go with the flow, but it's his flow. I gotta admit, it's his flow. If he feels some way, if he thinks some way about you, he gonna go with it. He gonna go all in with it. Kanye gonna go all the way in, you know. And whether it's right, wrong, and different, he ain't gonna sit there and think it through. I don't think he's gonna think it through to its fullest or the possibilities. I don't think he's gonna do all that. I don't think Kanye gonna do all that. I think Kanye gonna pick a side. He gonna pick what he think, what he believe, and regardless of what reality says or what regardless of what the truth is in the matter, Kanye, if once he lock into it and he believe it, he gonna go with it. He gonna go with it. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that's Kanye. That's the fellow that we've been dealing with for a long time. For a minute, we gave him a pass, and I got to admit, our community actually gave him a pass. That's Kanye. He's a musical genius. He's making all these different songs, man, and doing all this stuff and talking bad about different people. Now the very people that he had been talking bad about, he married them. He married the very people he's been talking bad about. Kayla. Donna, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Raheem. How you doing? This is Donna Green.
Miss Donna Green. Boy, we are honored this morning. We got Miss Donna Green with us this morning, y'all. Y'all better recognize who y'all got. Y'all in the presence of royalty, boy. Y'all better recognize who y'all dealing with. Y'all better recognize who y'all dealing with. Y'all got Miss Donna Green. Donna, what do you think about the topic we was talking about this morning? What's on your heart concerning that?
Kanye, we were just talking about Kanye yesterday. I just think Kanye got some mental issues and that he need to deal with.
Yeah.
I think all that's coming out of his mental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's wide open right now. I wouldn't be surprised soon he'd be in some kind of mental institution or something if don't nothing else happen to him. I think Kanye just really got some mental issues with that bipolar and all that stuff he got going on.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you, and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And I think he really need to go sit down and talk to somebody and get some help. He really needs to get some help. But one of the things I think that really damaged him was that situation that happened with his mother.
I believe that too. But Kanye is he's a genius. He's very smart, very intelligent. And I listened to one of his interviews when he was talking about dealing with the bipolar and the things he went through because he was institutionalized for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. He was saying he was just talking about the things he went through, and that stuff is real,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I know his mother, but I think over the years it's just manifested more and more and more, and now he's just high and low. He's out there. He's just all over. He's gonna have to get on some meds, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's just institutionalized for a minute.
Mm.
I wouldn't,
Wow.
because he's just too loose right now.
But see, what about the people that's supposed to be around him? They're supposed to be a guiding force because not everybody in your corner can be a yes person. And I think he's surrounded by a lot of yes people. And those yes people are not telling him, hey man, look here, bro, you're messing up, man. Come here, let me sit down, let me talk to you for a minute, man. Let me talk to you for a minute.
Well, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But at the same time, Kanye, 'cause if you're looking at him now and what he got going on now, I don't think he's gonna listen to anybody but his voices is in his head to telling him what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's just my opinion. I'm not medical or anything like that, but I have worked in mental health for many years and stuff, and I've seen this before. Kanye just gotta get some help. He just
Mm-hmm.
gotta get some help, and until he do, then I'm not, whatever comes out of his mouth, I'm just not surprised. Whatever he does, I'm not surprised because that's part of that illness that he got going on.
Now, do you think a part of his celebrity and us men have a certain ego about ourselves? Do you think those two layers is going to prevent him from getting the help that he need? Because I'm Kanye, what do you? I'm Kanye. I'm very successful. I'm Kanye West. Yeah, or
Well,
whatever he
of
called
course,
himself now.
that ego got his part, gonna play his part. And if you
Hmm.
can't shut that ego down, then he is Kanye and he got the money, he got all this his stuff, and so yeah, that ego is definitely gonna play a part in it. But I do believe that all of that, Kanye got so much going on, and the money and the fame and all that other stuff, along with that illness, it just does not make for a good. It's not good. It's
Hmm.
just not good for him right now
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
not thinking clearly.
Hmm.
But it's his ego and that illness and everything else going on in his head.
Hmm.
Look, that's just my opinion because I've been watching him and stuff, and it's like he's like a train
Yeah. Yeah.
heading to a wreck. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? It's like he's
Exactly.
just going full force, and eventually, eventually something gonna stop that.
Hmm.
So I'm praying for Kanye. I really am because I understand mental health, and he got a lot going on, but now he's out of control.
Okay. Now you're here in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Now with you being here in Georgia, I gotta ask you the question. I gotta ask you the question. What in the world is going on with Georgia? I'm here in Georgia too. I'm right here outside of Atlanta. And I gotta ask the question: what is going on with Georgia? How in the world could we let Herschel Walker be that close to Warlock? Donna?
That's so interesting to me. What you saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. But then I think about when I went to bed one night, Hillary had it, but I woke up and Trump was president. So
Yeah, yeah.
nothing surprises me.
Exactly.
Nothing surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
After that, because Hillary had that, and
Mm-hmm.
then for Trump to walk in it, it just nothing surprises me. Herschel Walker, I can't even believe he got this far. I thought it was a joke at first,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
then I thought Trump was a joke too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Trump would get to be president. It never crossed my mind that he would get to be president. And when he got to be president, it never crossed my mind that he would stay in there like that. So I don't know, with all this stuff they got going on with Herschel Walker and everything that they're saying, I just can't believe that he's gotten this far. But I know some people that's gonna support him.
Yeah. And,
That support him. So whatever he got, I seen him in Warnock, but I'm like, and I'm thinking then that was it for him, but it wasn't.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, he's still climbing, is what I'm saying. He's still climbing. So you tell me what's going on. What you think going on with him?
I think majority of the people, I say majority of the people that's actually voting for Herschel Walker is not really voting for Herschel Walker. They're voting against Warlock. And
Yeah,
so I
I
think,
agree with that.
yeah, I don't think they're really voting for Herschel at all. I think they're voting against Warlock. They don't want Warlock to be in there. They bring somebody into the folds that look like him, so you know they can't say it's this discrimination thing. So to get somebody that look like him, and they push this person, push the envelope for that particular person, and now try to get him in and get Warlock out. Herschel is just to me, he's just a puppet, and they pull in every string he got. They pull in every string
Oh
he got.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But see, he got enough power behind him to get him in there though. That's the thing. He got
Unfortunately.
enough. I believe that he got enough silent power behind him to walk him right on in that door.
But see, my whole thing is you got all these women coming out. You know, he's supposed to be against abortion, and all these different women that's coming out saying that he paid for them. Excuse me. Crazy. It's
I
crazy.
saw, you know, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. But that hadn't stopped his rise in the polls though.
Yeah. And right now,
That hadn't stopped his rise in the polls.
they're pretty much neck and neck. Right now, they're pretty much neck and neck. We got a few more people that called in this morning. Let me see. Let me go to them as well. I'm gonna throw this other question out there. Let me see which one I want to go with. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain, man. Out here enjoying another beautiful new day. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Rico, we've been talking about earlier this morning before we start talking about Herschel Walker and Warlock. Was that I asked this question, and I want to hear your heart on this, man. Should the race category be taken off applications with jobs, college admissions, and all kind of different things? Should that category be taken off? And if so, what kind of Pandora box could we be opening up by doing that?
What kind of Pandora's box will we be reopening?
Yes, we'll be opening
I
up.
mean, we got to understand that it was a reason and a purpose that they even did that in the first place. And the reason was because they wanted to make sure that everybody was getting a fair opportunity in the workplace, that the workplace was diverse, you know, that it matched up with the demographics of the population.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And during the time, you know, I mean, you got to think about it. People was fighting for rights to vote. People were fighting for rights to go to school. And I mean, people were just fighting for civil rights. So that means if you were being discriminated against to the point of where you had to go and fight for just the basic human rights, imagine what you had to do to be able to earn a living that was going to help you to do better. I mean, that the whole nature of this system was set up to make sure that only certain people benefited.
Yeah.
So, you know, that labor unions, I mean, you just, you know, get to thinking about how the economic thing is, and then you start thinking about class, but then you go down to the gender and race. That was a reason that the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission was started.
Yeah.
The EEOC.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't something that somebody just came up with and said, well, we're going to do this even though it ain't needed. We're going to do it just because.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they had to do that because there were qualified people that weren't being hired or promoted or given a fair opportunity to do the work that they deserve to do or get the pay that they deserve. Or maybe they was doing the work and not getting the pay.
Okay.
All based off of somebody discriminating against them because of their color or their gender.
That's true.
So, you know, it had to be put in place, but at the same time, there's always a pro and a con to everything, just like how magnificent the internet is and how magnificent cars and technology is. You know, we could go back and look at all the negatives that come with it, the vulnerabilities. And that was vulnerabilities with having the race put on there, because now that allows somebody that does like to discriminate to wiggle and finagle and play with numbers. You know, maybe they have a high turnover rate with Black employees to keep them from progressing through the company, but at the same time, they're still hiring the amount of the number that's needed to fit the percentage of employees that they have. You know, employers really have to have a certain percentage of workers that apply to be hired into that company, or they could get, you know, sued for discrimination.
That's true.
So,
but do you think at the same time, Do you think at the same
If
time,
you take
Rico?
it away, you will open that box back up.
Okay. Do you think at the same time, and I like to deal with both sides of the coin. Do you think at the same time, some people that's very qualified could be left out because that box is there and affirmative action? So you have to have a certain amount of minorities and other people in certain categories in certain positions. And so, do you think that sometimes a person that's very qualified could lose the position or the job or the placement in college, if you will, because of the fact that they have to meet a certain quota?
I think if it boils down to who's the most qualified, and it comes down to between just one or two people, then it gets to a point where you just have to go by that who's the most qualified.
Mm-hmm.
True, I believe it is used as discrimination still. You know, people do, discriminate in those situations, or it does hurt somebody because they want to say, you know what, I'm guaranteeing y'all that I'm going to make me a black female Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Or I guarantee y'all that I'm going to have me a black female vice president.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, he might have the most qualified black female that in his eyes, but she might not have been the most qualified person to be vice president.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that was still who he felt was most qualified. But I think, you can't discriminate, unless it gets to a point where, over time, you start seeing that in other cases, other qualified people that may have been black and female were overlooked.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning to everyone. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Asking a question about the race. Should that box be taken off? Because there's a big thing in the news right now, whereas they're saying that they want to take that off because certain people are being disqualified, discriminated against. And so they say it will be more equal playing field if they take that off. Now, what are the pros and cons to taking a race off? The applications for colleges, jobs, and different things of that sort. Captain, what do you see?
Well, let me say this. I want to address, you were talking about Herschel Walker, right?
Yes, sir.
I was in the barber shop the other day, and they just calling him Uncle Tom,
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think that, and I'm throwing this out there, I kind of think that sometimes we forget in the black community in particular what the word Uncle Tom means.
Yes.
And Thomasina.
Mm-hmm.
And is Uncle Tomism still alive in the black community? Do we still have Uncle Toms
Mm-hmm.
and Thomasina? And I think that when we talk about Herschel Walker, I think that's basically, what you see. Somebody that's doing the bidding for another people of a different race or color that's using them for their personal agenda and his love for that race. Every one of those women that so-called is bringing him out the closet on what they did, they white women,
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear that, he's part up in their camp and being used. So I like that. I kind of like, Uncle Tom is still around. There's still Thomasina's. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that was always something the black community used to show there's always those who always want to do what we call white folks business. Love them some white people. Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
White people can't do no wrong in their eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just want to throw that out. Now get to your question. I do believe that there's no way you could right the wrong of discrimination. I think we tried to do this by, as I heard beautifully pointed out by my brother Rico, what the intent was. There was to try to be able to give black people an opportunity to move up in an arena that they have been discriminated against.
Mm-hmm.
But however, we also know it can have the potential of being what we call reverse discrimination.
Yes.
It can also do the opposite. It can also deprive people of the opportunity who's more qualified. Rico just said it, man. You picked a vice president. Well, she may be the most black qualified
Mm-hmm.
for that position, but that not necessarily means she was the most qualified for that position. It added other people of different ethnicities in there. So I think if they took that off of that took that box out of there, then what would you replace it with? I think if you took the box out of there and you replace it with people's income, then you don't have to ask what color it is. If you say, what is your income? Your income is from 30,000 to 50,000, check this box. If your income is from 15,000, check. And you don't have to ask if they black or white. You look at it, they poor.
Mm-hmm.
They poor. Whether it's poor black folks or poor white folks, they poor. And then you're able to deal with people based upon their income, because basically that's what it's all about. I mean, that's my opinion, dear brother.
Yeah, that's good. And see, that's very interesting. You say based on income, because there's a mindset in this country and probably even the world that certain economic levels, when you reach a certain level, people think, a lot of times people think you're smarter and you're more intelligent because you reach a certain level. And I've known some some real, I'm trying to be politically correct the way I say this. Some rich dummies. I just say it like that. I've met some real rich dummies, man, in my life that, I'm like, man, how in the world did you? Anyway, Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning? Curtis, you there?
Yeah, hey, morning, Ryan.
Curtis, and good morning. Good morning. How you doing this morning? I'm all right. Good. We can barely hear you, Curtis. Talking to your phone, brother. You're a little bit low. Want to make sure everybody can hear what you're about to say, man. But I want to.
Yeah, I'm all right, man.
I want to ask you the question, man. What do you think about that, man? Should that race box be taken off of applications in regards to college, jobs, and different categories? Should the race box be taken off? And if so, what could be the pros and cons in regards to doing that?
Wow, man. Why would you take it off?
They're saying there's a lot of they're saying discriminate is being discriminated. They're saying there's a lot of discrimination going on.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Listen. Affirmative action exists because there's a need for that.
Mm-hmm.
See, man, I'm getting so sick of these people keep trying to take us back 40, 50 years. We're not going back there, man. That's not happening. Let that go. It's not happening. Black folk is not going to allow, black and brown folk is not going to allow you to do what you did to them during the 50s, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. We're not going to allow that no more, man. They keep trying to dress it up. Well, it's reverse discrimination and this, that, and the third. Listen, even if it is, it's on a very small and marginal scale. Because if you look at the percentages that is requested, it doesn't support that you have to have more than half of your student body, more than half of your employees. It does not even say, for the most part, in most cases, it does not even say that you have to have black. It says you have to have a minority. Now, how you achieve that minority is up to you. That could be black female, Asian male, black male. That could be any number of minority organizations. Puerto Rican, Mexican, blah, 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 blah. But that's just a very small percentage. People like Candace Owens and all these these smart dummies, they jump out here as pundits saying it's foolishness, and people buying it because it sounds good. No, affirmative action is needed. And for anybody that thinks it should be taken away, you're a fool.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fool, because that same action that you think it should be taken away is the same action that's providing you protection each and every day. So go on, get in the clown car with that, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you something, and a lot of people feel very strongly behind that. A lot of people saying that if you take that box off, there will be and this is their way of thinking. Whether I agree with this, it's not important whether I agree or not. But they say if you take it off, you'll have a more of an equal playing field. The people that's supposed to,
No,
the people
no.
that Curtis, let me
What
let me
about
Curtis, let me
what
finish.
Raheem? What
Curtis, let me
about
finish. Curtis, let me finish
I
what I'm
get
saying,
you.
brother. My thing is this right here. They're saying that if you and I'm not saying it because I agree. I'm just making the point of what they're trying to say. So I'm certainly not. I don't want nobody to walk away thinking I agree with this. That's not what I'm saying. I do not agree. As a matter of fact, for the record, I do not agree. But what they're saying is this: you have some situations where people that's less qualified are getting the job, and the more qualified are not getting it because they have to meet a certain quota of certain people. And so that's the argument that they're having. Go ahead, and we're gonna go to Cassandra after you. Go ahead, brother.
Listen, I know where you stand on the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying no against the foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I'm saying no against the betrayal.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The percentages don't line up to it being that discriminatory. And guess what? You can go on and remove it. You can go on and remove it. Remove it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So how you gonna change somebody's name?
I said that earlier.
Because
Yeah.
see, like we like to talk about affirmative action, but we don't like to talk about the fact that there was discrimination upon people's names.
Mm-hmm.
Why you think a bunch of black folks start naming their kids Kyle
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Brandy instead of Brenda?
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I don't know why y'all choosing to run my blood pressure up early in the morning. It's early. I don't want my blood pressure to go up. It's crazy because I went on Facebook first to see what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. I wanted to call in this morning to talk about that because I heard it on NPR.
Yeah. Yep.
Like 2:00 this morning. 2:00 this morning, I heard it on NPR. And you know what? I'm telling y'all, there is a move in this country to suppress Black people and people of color in every direction. I don't care. Choose a direction. Choose something. And I'm telling you, there is an active move to stop and to reverse the very things that we had to fight to get access to.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have, and this, I'm sorry, this Supreme Court that we got right now, think about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Think about some of the things that they're voting on and what they're doing right now. This is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And anyone with any common sense can see and tell that this is a concerted effort to suppress people of color in this country. Y'all mark it down.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Let me go to Donna. Donna, what's on your heart? What do you say to that, man? Should the race be taken off? Joseph, come to you next, brother. In Tucson, I see you there. Donna, you there? Okay, let me go to Joseph. Joseph, good morning. How you doing this morning? Joseph, can you hear me? Everybody must have stepped away for a second. Tucson, talk to me, brother. How you doing this morning?
I'm well. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Tucson, should race be taken off the applications for colleges, admissions to jobs, and all these different things? Should race be taken off? And if so, what are the pros and cons in regards to doing so?
I'm like Cassandra now. What you gonna do to level the playing field, or at least give an attempt to? What are you gonna use?
Thank you.
I'm just saying. I think it's designed to say, okay, we got too much of this, not enough of this. So if you take it off, then what you got? What's the plumb line? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they just do what they want to do, like they've been doing. I mean, they do it anyway. At least you got a chance
Mm-hmm.
to say, I'm here.
Yeah.
But every, ethnic group, otherwise somebody's gonna be left out. Somebody. And you know what? Guess what? Most probably would be the one that's left out.
Mm-hmm.
The one that say remove it. Looking like Boo Boo the Fool now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I don't have a chance. Well, you said it. You wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful what you ask for.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You just might get it.
Mm-hmm.
And we fall for the old game every time. They throw it out, they throw you out a scenario. And we say, oh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the fine print, dummy? I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call anybody no dummy because somebody smart thought about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they thought about that because it's kind of like when they come to the neighborhood with barbecue sandwiches. That sounds good too.
Mm-hmm.
But they ain't gonna do nothing for the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Wow. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Man, some people get mad when we say things like we dropped the ball. So I say something similar. After integration, for some reason, people relaxed and they stopped really appreciating the whole movement of the civil rights that happened that came before them. Now, civil rights movement did keep going, but for the most part, people relaxed, got comfortable, and started celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
So now you see the generations, this new generation, saying things like that and not understanding the reason why it even exists in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of the fact that they had to put race on application. The reason why they needed affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we needed civil rights. So you have to ask yourself, how is it that this new generation can be caught up in so much of the illusion of the American dream and democracy and equality and denounce or say the things that got them where they are, gave them the opportunities that they have, is not needed anymore. And it's because they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you grew up around your grandmama like I did, because let me tell you something, had it not been for my grandmama, I would be completely lost because my dad and mama didn't talk to me about the stuff that I needed to know as a young black man.
Yeah.
If it wouldn't have been for my grandmama, I wouldn't have knew nothing about Emmett Till and Eyes on the Prize on PBS in the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my grandmama was the one that had me reading newspapers in the 3rd and 4th grade. I mean, I ain't gonna say I was strange, but she gave me that quality time to think and understand and reason. Now, my dad and mom had this information, but they only reminisced about it. Ooh, back in the day, we didn't have this. Y'all ought to be glad. Back in the day, we didn't have that. Y'all ought to be glad.
Mm-hmm.
People back in the day didn't get to do this. At least we get to do this and that. Ungrateful children, this. Your days will be cut short that. So everybody started using these grown folks' rules to just go out and do what they wanted to do and then not pass down from generation to generation. Look, the reason why we are able to live in this neighborhood is because your forefathers had to fight and suffer and sacrifice and get terrorized. The reason why you were able to go to this school is because your ancestors was able to had to go through these things and endure these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happened to me when I was a child? When you listen to your grandparents say the things that they went through, and your parents don't have none of these experiences.
Mm-hmm.
They still celebrate the segregation. Oh, back in the day, we had the best black football team. We beat such and such 99 and nothing. But that's how human nature is, man. I mean, we're gonna reminisce and enjoy the things that make us feel good. So we so addicted to pleasure right now to the point of where we are living still under the illusion of the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
So now these people that saying, take the box off. It ain't needed anymore. I can remember 12 years ago, 10 years ago, the younger people were saying racism didn't exist anymore, and this new white generation was cool, and these white boys was different. Now they singing a different tune.
Mm-hmm.
They learning the hard way. The momentum to still do things like Richard Nixon did. I mean, imagine what Paul read last week.
Yeah.
How they was going to use the war on drugs as an ulterior motive to tear up the black community.
Mm-hmm.
But they made it seem like it was all noble and for righteousness and to stop drugs because it's so bad and so discouraging. We're going to use this as an angle to use our ulterior motive to promote this white supremacy and still keep black men and the black community down and confused and in chaos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even with the civil rights put in place, that's when Richard Nixon came up with this. Even after the EEOC was formed in 1965, Richard Nixon came in after this and came up with another plan, him and his buddies, to find a way to tear up the black community. So that's the reason why civil rights exists, and that's where all this came from, EEOC, putting your race and your gender on the application.
Mm-hmm.
But see, we don't even understand group identity anymore. We just well-off black people just looking out for ourselves while everybody else is moving along and making sure they still look out for the best interest of their group. You know, we listen to well-paid, wealthy white people that use these same talking points, but they understand why they're using them. They really do cherish their legacy and their heritage. So they can speak this thing to the black people that feel like they done made it now. And then the black people come right back out and repeat the same crap, not understanding that what you are speaking against is what got you in a situation where you can even sit in the room with this same man and him not slap you in your mouth or spit in your face or rape you and tell you that you can't do nothing about it because ain't nobody gonna believe you. I'm a white man. See, they need to hear some of them stories.
Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Love to have your input. Joseph, are you with us, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Good deal.
Hey, man, that's a good topic this morning. I assume you're talking about the Supreme Court taking up the affirmative action, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would think we need to officially close ranks to Clarence Thomas and all the other slave-minded Negroes who haven't come to maturity. But yeah, it may be time after this Supreme Court ruling, if they're going to do this thing the way they did Roe v. Wade, it may become necessary for African Americans to prepare to take our case to the United Nations and prepare to mount a great challenge against these tricks to push us backwards. If you look at our history, during slavery, we were not allowed to read. It was against the law for us to read and learn. After slavery, these makeshift shack schools were set up during the Freedmen Brewery to teach us the basics, which amounted to just being an upgraded slave. Then, decades later, white children was getting $600 or $700 for a student, where we were getting like $20 or $50 a student. That's documented.
Yeah,
the data is on the books. And I don't know about you, but I remember getting those hand-me-down books that had been in existence for about 10 years before we got them.
Yeah.
That makes the white student more ready to go to NASA and run the space program, and we are 10 years behind. So we can't do nothing but go there and be the janitors.
Wow.
This has been deliberate. It has been deliberate. And then we're not allowed to teach our children that part of our history and how we evolved, for fear, they fear, that it might engender anger in black kids, which it should, but it should be righteous indignation. So that we would correct the wrongs. Now, I love what Rico says, man. He says some powerful things all the time, and so does, the other people that come on this show. Rico said something very striking, and I've been thinking about that when I was in the military.
while we were really relaxed and just partying and getting down and in our own little world, crack cocaine was released throughout all our community across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Across the country. I haven't been in a city yet that hadn't been touched by crack, especially in the black community. It was deliberate. It was systematic. It was well thought out. Their sociologists, their psychologists are in the think tanks coming up with new ideas to keep us from advancing. They fear us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
White people fear us, and I say it like that. Not all white people, but the ones who matter.
Mm.
They fear us. And we're going to have to get ready to take our case before the United Nations, and we got to enumerate all of the crimes against our people. We got to enumerate, just like the Native American enumerate. We're going to have to enumerate because it's 2 steps forward and 4 steps backwards. It has been that way since coming out of slavery, even in Reconstruction, when the Union soldiers was pulled out of the South. What happened? The white people down here got busy, put us back in quasi-slavery, sharecropping, and all this foolishness. It's been a systemic plan. All the civil rights gains have been turned back by so-called clever white politicians. They think they're clever, and they use house Negroes to be the front man, like they used Ben Carson to cut billions of dollars from affordable housing, and look how homelessness increased.
Yes.
And no one is saying a lot about that. I shouldn't say no one, but not enough of us.
Yeah.
Are calling it out. So we got to enumerate the health issues. It's been deliberate to keep us unhealthy and keep us inaccessible to health care for the most vulnerable in our community. That's a deliberate plan to eliminate as many black folks as they can. The gun situation, we can't institute policies that will correct the excessive gun violence in our community, although we got leaders that can do it. We got leaders that can check this foolishness if we had the power, the political power. But we don't. We rely on what? Republicans and Democrats. We rely on them. But it's hurting our community. So we've got to stop. We got to think outside the box, throw the box away, burn it up, and come up with our own plan. But I know one of the plans, like Malcolm X said, we should take our case before the United Nations, if for no other reason, to make a bold statement to America that we are not going to take it.
Absolutely. Let's keep this thing going, and the phone lines are open. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Captain, talk to me. Cassandra, coming to you next.
Man, I like what my brother just said. Good God Almighty, my brother. On point, man. I love that spirit. You're right.
Yes.
You know, James Brown had a song that said, "I don't want you to give me nothing." What is the rest of that, everybody? Y'all know the rest of that. Go with that.
Open up
the door. I'll get it myself.
Get it myself. Exactly.
Come on, man. Woo! That's what don't give us nothing. But don't stand in the way of the door either. You hear me?
Yeah.
We're not a begging people. We're a proud people. Don't give us no handouts. Give us the opportunity to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
You came up with how to balance the discrimination that you have perpetuated on us. You came up with the affirmative action plan. This was your way of saying, well, we're going to balance out how we treat y'all. So we're going to put 10% set aside for minority businesses. I was a victim of 10% set aside. I was in Buffalo, New York, and there was an Italian construction company that had got some city and state money to do some work downtown Buffalo. They put in the ad. Look what they did. This is how I wanted to sue. Wanted minority bricklayer. I said, oh, I got them there. So I show up on the job. I don't know to lay the bricks. I don't know nothing about laying no bricks.
Mm-hmm.
But I was smart enough to know they really didn't want a bricklayer. They wanted a black person. So as soon as this is the God's truth, I can't make this up. They applied for the job. The man, I know his name was Peter Savarino. He said, look here. He said, we're going to give you bricklayer wages. We're going to give you $12 an hour, another $2 for benefits. But right now, we're not laying no bricks. But here's what you could do. Here's a paper picker. Just go around and clean up the site. I said, that's my word bond.
Mm-hmm.
I went around that site and cleaned up the site with a paper picker.
Mm.
I watched his own white company, a company come in, and he started laying bricks. They never asked me. They never. So when the lady came out to see was they meeting their quota, the lady met the city statement, said, so we want to see that you meet your quota. Do you have a minority? And he pulled me in the room. I didn't know what he was doing. Yeah, he's a bricklayer. But the lady then asked me, sir, have you laid any bricks? And as soon as the lady left, listen to me, family. As soon as the lady left and she felt he met his quota, he called me into the office and listen, we're not, you're just not aggressive enough for us and we're going to have to let you go. I said, I'm sorry, Mr. Savarino. I'm not an aggressive paper picker. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. That ain't. So he let me go.
Yeah.
But he
Wow.
did not know when I went to the discrimination, they got sued because number one, all the man had to do was let me lay one brick.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he'd have let me lay one brick, he could have been justified. Because
Mm-hmm.
then he realized I wasn't qualified. Then I would have said, oh, I thought you said brick thrower. I didn't know you said bricklayer. But the bottom line, I wound up getting a lawsuit, won the lawsuit. They had to pay me back. They had to give me back my time. Now, I wasn't going to show up back up on that job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to bust me in the head with a brick.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that happens all around the country.
Yes, sir.
They utilize black faces to push white agendas. They take the white woman now. She's out there with the flagpole. You don't see the sister. So there's other people that benefit more than us. But if you had not bombed Black Wall Street, if you had not bombed Black Wall Street, if you had not bombed Black Wall Street, we was doing very well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We didn't need your set aside. We was doing very well being self-sufficient. So I like what my brother said. It's time for us to put on our big pants and go to the United Nations and let them treat us like a nation within a nation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm through with it.
That's good. That's good. Cassandra, talk to me, Cassandra. Toussaint coming to you next, brother.
Boy, oh boy. Y'all are killing it today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this topic, this is so awesome, and the responses are so profound. I'm just, man, if we don't do so, I'm telling you, when they started with that voting mess, and now they just look at it. They are slowly, whoever they are, y'all can figure out whoever y'all want to say they are slowly trying to, I've been saying this for years now, take us back a little bit at a time. One of the brothers said it. They trying to slide us on back from this, slide us on back from that. But it comes from that voting. If we think voting doesn't matter, we are sick. It's something wrong with us.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that they're doing is legislatively, you can see it in the legislating, the judicial system. Come on now. But if we are not a part of that process, we are going to be in trouble in this country. No, excuse me. We are already in trouble in this country.
Yes.
And I love what Joseph said. We need to go to I'm all in. When y'all tell me y'all going, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. Whatever we need to do to try to make this happen, I'm in. Because this country is a big lie.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
It's a big lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's one big lie. And the whole world is looking at us and saying, dang, I thought they said they were this. I thought they said there was that. Why they keep doing this kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
People are peeping our cards, as the kids say.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Going to Tucson, then Curtis coming to you next, brother. Be on standby, Curtis. Tucson, what's on your heart?
Unfortunately, I don't have much on my heart. It's kind of like we get to the edge of the promised land, and somebody say, "Let's go back to Egypt."
Wow.
Come on, Tucson.
There's cucumbers, watermelons, and grapes. Who that sounds like? Because they always got somebody to say that's a good idea. We don't want. And you know what? That's why I guess tomorrow would be a good day to get out the house. Right? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
What's the day? Day after tomorrow. You can sit at the house if you want to and say voting don't matter. I'm good. And those that think they're good, this me, my, and I mentality that we got. If we got $2 above starvation, we think we all right. We're not concerned about nobody but ourselves. But somebody said, until all of us are free, or they said it,
come on,
none of us are free.
Come on. Yes, sir.
And that's just the way it is.
That's exactly
when you
the way
get
it
that
is.
through your head, you might
Say
be
it.
heading towards a good spot.
Good.
By the time they let one of you sit at the breakfast table or the dinner table and they smile at you and you say, "Them love me." Well, there you go.
Exactly.
Teasing.
Wow.
I'm just listening, man.
That's good. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Curtis, talk to me. Curtis, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to hit the mute button.
Talk to me, brother.
Man, I think everybody done said what need to be said. If I was to add anything, I would reaffirm what the brother said in reference to the UN human rights path. As far as I know, right before the Ukrainian war kicked off, it is in the UN. Right after, matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the case was put on the books right after George Floyd. Somebody got killed right after George Floyd. Is it Tamir Rice? But whoever died right after George Floyd or right before George Floyd is what spun the case in the UN. So it's in the UN right now. I'd be a conspiracy theorist if I said it's funny to me that this whole Ukrainian war pops off right when that case went to the UN. So the UN got to focus on something else because we act like we can't chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. But us folk, because of a simulation, I heard somebody speak of a simulation. Because of a simulation, we have a collection of folks that seem to think that what's available for one is available for all. And oftentimes, that's not true. Because see, here's what the assimilated don't tell you. They don't tell you what they have morally and psychologically. They don't tell you how they have morally and psychologically gone bankrupt.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They don't tell you what they have been called to do against their own people and against the society as a whole. Now, I heard the brother speak on Ben Carson. I'm so glad he did, brother. I'm glad you telling these folks the truth. That was a debacle, a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It filtered right down. And that's why you have the homeless situations going on. That's why you got families on the street living in cars because they did nothing over at HUD when he was in charge. They did nothing but steal. I know that for a fact. The current administration right now is trying their best to clean that up. But that's what happens when you have 4 years of no action in any infrastructure. It will topple. We talk about health care. These people keep telling you this, that, and the third, but they ain't telling you what their remedy is. But on the low, here's their remedy. I know this for a fact. Do you know that you can go get, I don't know how many of us remember this, but I remember when I was younger, I was on Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
I could just about go anywhere and be seen. I could go anywhere and be seen with my Medicaid. Do you know that right now, the majority of places that you go and you got Medicaid, you got government health care, they won't even see you?
Wow. Wow.
You can't even use your Medicaid, man. I have a youth participant right now.
Okay.
I have several.
Okay.
That he lives approximately 32 miles. 32 miles, right, from where she can be seen to use her Medicaid. But guess what? It is a healthcare center right up the street from where she lives at. Not even 4 blocks. Can't go there because guess what? They don't take priority partners.
Wow. Wow. It's a system. It's a system, brother. It's a system. And it's not set up to honor us. I say it that way. It's not set up to honor us. Anybody have anything else they want to say before we move to another topic?
Well,
I love what everybody was saying. Like with Joseph, man, he came through, man. They're going to the United Nations and reminding you. Notice he's reminding us of things that happened in the past, recommendations that we still haven't taken advantage of. Spoken not from billionaires who won't into the system, but from a man that really understood during the era what was going on and what it was going to take to get ahead. We like to quote Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., but like I said, some of these same people don't really truly understand what the fight was about, how it was. So you have this new generation that has respect for Martin Luther King Jr., has respect for Malcolm X, and they repeat what they say, but they still come back with these goofy talking points. So we have to come back and ask why. How did we get lost? How we get confused? And in the process of understanding that this is the confusion that's going on, get back to building our group identity.
Yeah.
Because we can't go before anybody unless we go as a group. We can't go to the United Nations as one little small group of black people. We got to go with the mindset of a Marcus Garvey that really wanted to create a nation. I mean, we have to have real, very real representation. Ibrahim said yesterday that we need our own party. We do.
Yeah.
We have certain organizations, but we still have to understand that the NAACP was really founded by somebody that didn't look like us. So, we need to find out how we want to build our own nation. And in the process of doing that, we're going to have to understand that we might have stopped wanting to be so much of a part of this system. And like I said yesterday, find out how to work around it.
Mm-hmm.
Use it to our advantage as needed and work around it accordingly, but not wanting to buy into it so much, because as long as we keep buying into it, we're going to keep looking for their help and looking for them to come up with different programs and laws to help our benefit, speaking on our behalf.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody else wanted to say something? Somebody else?
I was going to land my plane with saying this. There are those who have spoken on it several times throughout our history that the truth be told, we have, if I just account for what I've heard and seen and read, we have made an attempt, counting Garvey, we have made an attempt, I want to say 4 times, to go to the UN. And when those folks made an attempt to take the case to the UN, they were assassinated.
Yes. Yes.
There are folks that will tell you and can show you documentation, and you can read documentation that says that Brother Malcolm, Martin, some of your grassroots civil rights leaders that were murdered, Ron Brown, Anwar Gaddafi, and there's a slew of others that escape me right now that were actually making an appeal to the UN on behalf of Black and brown folks in America. They were all assassinated. Because, see, as long as civil rights remain civil, for the listeners that don't understand and for the foreign listeners that we have in the 68 other countries that they hear the show in, whenever a fight is civil, that means it's handled internally. It's handled within the country itself. But once a fight goes to human, then that means that is done to the United Nations. That means your country is put on the forefront, and your country is basically called out in front of all the other countries. And now there's a broader scope that determines if you are compensated or if your people are treated justly and fairly. So those people have been assassinated. So, you know, the time has come where we can't worry about dying no more, because at the end of the day, with the way they're doing things, we dying slow anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, sir.
You know, look, I'm a believer. You know, and according to my book, you know, because I'm a believer, we win anyway. You know, so I don't know how we would go about crafting something to go to the UN. I'm not going to say I'm that smart.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly believe that the time has come that a pressure campaign has to be applied to all those in power to say, you will no longer treat these people like this.
Mm-hmm.
We will not allow it, we will not accept it, and we will not take our knee or our foot off of this issue until we see right and just cause for change.
Mm-hmm.
And we might even take it off then.
Wow.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, Raheem, did Paul send that correspondence that he
hey, you're breaking up.
the other day?
You're breaking up on me, Curtis.
I said, did Paul ever send you that correspondence that he
No. Hopefully
he read to you?
No, hopefully he'll get around to it. No, he hadn't done
I
this
did.
yet. You sent it to me?
Yeah, I sent it to you. I told you I did.
Okay. Well,
Go ahead.
to close out what I'm saying, if we can get a copy of that, and I'll look up the because what everybody is saying is in the memorandum code 46 or code 47. It's written by the late Theodore Brzezinski. I think his first name is Theodore, but Mr. Brzezinski. And in that code, that memorandum that was sent, I want to say to Jimmy Carter, but I could be wrong. In that code, he talks about specifically from a national security perspective, it would behoove the American government and those in charge of the government to prevent all of the African nations who are or who was willing to prop up Brother Malcolm, Brother Martin, all of the entities that was fighting for civil rights and fighting for the advance of colored people in America, to prevent them from connecting. Because the one thing that the civil rights movement did not have was they really realistically did not have the money to back them. They had some money, but they didn't have the money that they needed, in which they could have got that money. And he says it in the memorandum. If you allow for them to connect, and they are talking, if you allow for them to connect, the black community in America, the black and brown community in America will have the money it needs to fight these cases.
Wow. Okay, let's keep this thing going. Anybody else have anything to say?
I do.
Go ahead. Good morning, Badger. How you doing this morning?
It's another beautiful and blessed day.
What's on your heart, brother?
To be honest, for one, we all need to learn how to get along. And also learn that we're not really fighting politicians per se. We're fighting corporations. And until we can prove to the corporations that they can make money by us getting along, they ain't going to want to change their narrative. And as far as the UN is concerned, don't forget about 9/11. If they don't want it there, it ain't going to be there.
Wow. Okay. We're going to change this. Go ahead, brother. Finish your thought.
It's okay.
No. Finish your thought.
There's a lot more. Like, I would love to believe it's that simple that we could just all vote and get these politicians in there that's going to vote a certain way. However, time and time again, we get shown that the ones that we think is good is backed by certain groups of people. So unless we get a whole bunch of independent folks that have no ties whatsoever to any racial group, I'm talking about racists, excuse me, no oil companies, no gas companies, none of that kind of stuff. That is purely for the people.
Okay.
Nothing's going to change except for what they want to change.
Cool. Let me move on. I'm gonna read something to you all, and then I want to hear y'all hard on it, man. Find out what y'all think about this. This is something I pulled this up. Is an article that I pulled up from the Center Square. Not too familiar with them, but this is what came up. I know about the situation, and I want to hear y'all hard. I'm gonna read this. The Center Square. It says this: parents nationwide have rallied together to challenge a newly passed California bill that would allow a judge to revoke parental rights over a child who came from a different state seeking transgender surgery. I'm gonna go on for next. It says parents' rights group says they have several grave concerns with SB 107, SB 107, which would allow California to take temporary emergency jurisdiction, I can't say that word, of a child that came to California for transgender operations or drugs, effectively stripping parents of their authority over their child. So basically, in a nutshell, it's saying that a child don't have to get the parents' consent if they want to go to California or visit California and have a sex change. They don't have to get the parent. They're taking away the parents' consent to do that. The child don't have to have the parents' consent is what it's saying.
What's
Let me
the S bill number again?
SB 107. Cap, what's on your heart? Cap, you there? Did we lose Cap? Okay, he may be away from his phone for a second. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, Raheem, I'm about the family tree, so I'm about spreading the family tree. I respect people's right to their decision or whatever, but my agenda is to strengthen the Black family. That is my agenda. That's what I stand for. I guess LGBT have their issues that they stand for. I respect that. I respect every community and what they're all fighting for. I am for parental rights.
Yeah.
I think traditional families should raise their family, raise their children the best way, prayerfully in a godly way, and in a way that make a productive citizen and not abuse the children. So that's where I stand on that. But I'm about procreation, and I know that the powers to be will do anything that will stop Black folks from having children, that will stop Black families from being strong, that will stop us from advancing. So anything that threatens that is a problem for me. Okay? Now, I'm sensitive to other people's individual concerns, and I try not to hamper their struggle. So I don't weigh in too much on that. But for the whole world.
Let me say this to you, Joseph. Let me say this to you. And,
Okay.
and I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. But my concern is if you will allow a child that's not over a certain age to go there and do not have to have the parents' consent, they can just go there, go as a boy and come back as a girl at 7, 8, 9 years old. That's a bit much for me.
Well, it should be, I think, that's child abuse, in my opinion. Such a law would be so. But then the MAGA camp is going to cast all of us as leftists, and these are leftist ideas. Well, affirmative action is a leftist idea. All right? Equality in pay is a leftist idea, according to them. So I don't want to entangle myself or our struggle. I had a concern when the NAACP, took up that issue because, the LGBT issue, because first of all, our Constitution and bylaws says one thing. It was started to do one thing, okay, mainly. And so when we change horses in the middle stream, it kind of gets confusing. But I agree with you. To take a child at 9 years old and then let them go and get a sex change, and then later on in years when they realize that they were going through just regular human emotion that we all go through, and then wish they had not done so, then it's too late. But yeah, that is something, and I think the scientist community should weigh in on that and make that clear. Psychologists, and other people in the science community should weigh in and show the other side of that. before the law is passed if it hasn't been passed. And I think enough people should weigh in. But we have to also be careful not to allow our opposition to try to tie that around our neck as if that's the only solution we're concerned about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cassandra, what's on your heart? I know you feel deeply about situations like this. What's on your heart? And Teresa, I see you. We coming to you next.
Yeah, I don't, any time you are trying to eliminate a parent's right, the state, I don't care what part of the government it is, I have a problem with it. You know, you don't, I just feel like some grounds are taboo, and the definite separation of church and state, family and state comes into play for me. So no, I don't agree with them allowing a child, the parent. Now, what a parent decides to do, we can't, whatever. That's their child, and they have to make that decision with their child. But for someone to say, oh, I'm going to make you do this, I'm going to take away your parental rights, I definitely don't agree with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Teresa, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing wonderful.
Hey, doing great, doing
I've
great.
been listening in. I listen in a little bit. I do have a call in a few minutes, but I had to switch over from the internet because it kept going off. But now this parental thing. Okay, so here's where it gets really crazy, and I think a lot of you have already said it. It's a distraction, you guys, from what we're supposed to do. How are you going to now relinquish parental rights and let children make decisions that they cannot even pay for?
Yes.
So I don't know. I'm going to have to look that one up because I don't know the guidelines. But we got to get back to defining the terminology, the terms for being a parent, and then when a child becomes an adult. Now, we got it already mixed up even in the state of Georgia, right? At 14, a child can determine who they want to live with. Parents is not together. Then a child can quit school at 16, but a child can't vote until they're 18. But you done already allowed them to make decisions.
Come on.
As a child. But then now you're going to try to now tell them they can tell whether whatever they want to decide to do in their mind. And remember, as a child, you're growing up, you're creative, you're curious. You're very, very curious as a child. You have no idea what you want.
Yes.
You don't. I don't care what people say. You don't know what you want. I'm 50 years old. I still don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
We got to really have some common sense, and I'm a common sense kind of person. This is common sense. So now you're going to give them the right to decide who they can have sex with or what their sexual desires should be. But you don't want them to finish school? Come on, y'all.
Wow.
You know, they already get to decide if they can go to church or not. They don't even open up a book to read. They don't write. So now you want to take all of that is going back to slavery. What were we not able to do when we were slaves? Think for ourselves.
Yes.
So now we're going to create laws to tell us how a child should be raised or when a parent can and cannot. We're fighting to make sure that a child doesn't go through the judicial system as an adult, but there's a lot of laws that are allowing children to go through the judicial system, even though they're children. But because of the crime, now they're an adult. Yeah. All of this is confusion, distractions to what we're supposed to be doing about. Of course, I'm with y'all. Let's go to the United Nations. We got a lot of things that we need to talk about. And I will talk to you offline, Raheem, about the new things I'm going to be doing. So
okay.
But, you know, we got this election going on. So there's a lot going on with that election.
Absolutely.
And that's another crazy that's got us going. You got two black men running for Senate. When my mama called me and said, "You got 2 black men over there running for Senate." See, I said, "No, Mama, we only have 1 black man running for Senate." And someone said it before. Just because you color in black, don't mean you black.
Come on.
Mama, we got 1 black man running for Senate. And that's what we're going to have to start telling people. You ain't black and you're not on a black agenda. And until we do come together, united on the front of a black agenda. And a black agenda don't have to all have black people.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Because some of our black people are still in slavery days and really don't think there's a racism problem, that there's not a black problem, and they don't believe that we belong here. This is black people. This is what we got to do. We got to do what the white man said. That stuff is over. It's time for us to take our place. We become united on our own agenda and self-preserve, self-determination is what we got to do.
Good deal.
So I'm going to get off your phone and I'm going to continue to listen. And I got a call, but I'll come back and listen. I always listen to it later on anyway.
Good deal.
So we will talk later, okay?
Absolutely. Give me a call.
Y'all. Love y'all.
Hey, love you as well, sister. Give me a call later on. Let's definitely talk. We're gonna keep this thing going. Willa!
Hey, Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I am awesome this morning. God bless. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We're talking about California has passed a bill, SB 107. SB 107, where it's saying that a child, if they want to go to California or be in California, whatever the case, and change their sex, they don't have to have their parents' consent. They can go and change their sex at will if they want to. Willa, what does that say to you?
Baby, bye. First of all, each state, they do their own laws, first of all. But if we look at this from a totality, again, it reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what California reminds me of. Because you talk about America really being a free state or America being a free country, we could look at certain states and say, where I see the freedom where things are running wild. And somebody said it's another distraction. It is. It's another distraction to take us off of what we really need to be concentrating on and what's really important in our lives. First of all, how could you give a child who has not developed through their mindset the permission to do things permanently because they want to as a child? They might not even haven't even developed yet. As a parent, see, they're constantly trying to take our rights as a parent from us. See, our right as a parent is to raise our child. That's what the Bible tells us, to raise them up. And then the states say, well, a child gets to a certain age, they can do this. You can't even sign a contract unless you're 18 years of age. So how are you going to allow someone else who is not of age to come and say, well, I want to have my sex changed? Well, first of all, you don't even have an idea of the consequences when you start getting involved with sex. So they're just looking at peer pressure. They're looking at the TV. They're looking at other things, other states and other people, all these videos and these stars. And, come on now, a 9-year-old telling his mom and dad, I don't want to be a boy, I want to be a girl. And then they say it's okay. Come on now, I ain't gonna put their name out there, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You just don't do that. So I hope that I answered your question right here.
Absolutely. Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart? What do you say to that, Badger?
Well, that's not exactly what it says. It's more
Badger?
going. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but you said it's not what it said. I read word for word what it said, brother.
And so did I.
Okay, well, maybe we read two different things, but I'm going with what it was said on this out of the state, which is out of what's the thing called? The center square is what I read. I don't know what you read, but go ahead.
I read the bill.
Go ahead, brother.
So In Texas, I'll have to check it again. It's pretty much illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So even for mental health, that bill is trying to make sure that the kids are receiving mental health more so than more so than the transformation stuff.
Badger, I don't know where you're going, brother, but listen, this thing says out-of-state parent says California bill ignores their right when kids want sex reassignment. And now you talking about mental health. That's not what I'm talking about, brother. Maybe you read
Are
something.
you talking about S Bill 107?
I'm talking about what I said I'm talking about. Out-of-state parents says California bill ignores their right when kids want sex reassignment. That has nothing to do. The whole article that I read said nothing about mental illness. It's talking about sex change.
And I'm telling you, I looked at the actual bill, not
Brother,
yours.
for whatever reason you're not receiving. For whatever reason you're not listening to what I'm saying to you, Badger. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but whatever reason you're not hearing what I'm saying.
I have a question, and I'm going to drop it real quick because I don't know what you're pushing, but you're reading from a news article. I'm reading the actual bill that's written by the Senate of California that was passed.
I'm trying to figure out how could they be on totally different sides of the track. But go ahead, make your point, brother.
Republican, Democrat, liberal, whatever. It's different views when it comes to news. So I look at the actual bill because people put all kinds of things in newspapers and stuff. The bill talks about if a child is seeking that transformation stuff, and if the parents, or like Texas, a child is, I don't know what the age is because it didn't say in the bill, unfortunately, and I think they should add that because there should be an age limit. I think anyone under 17 should not be mental health. Yes. The other part, no. But in the bill, it's not just talking about the transformation medicine stuff, the physical aspects of it. It is also talking about all the mental health stuff. And if a kid is so confused that they don't know which way to go, they need access to that mental health care. That I'm for. But in my opinion, anyone under the age of actually 18, in my opinion, don't need to be doing anything physical until they receive proper mental health to figure out if that's truly what they are going to choose. And there are a lot of parents that refuse a child to even have access to mental health.
Okay. And see, that's not okay. That's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about, brother. I'm talking about, the part about the sex change. I pulled this up right here and say, what is SB 107? It is an effect. It will take effect on January 1st, 2023. SB 107 will protect trans children and their families if they flee to California from Alabama, Texas, Idaho, or any other state, criminalizing the parents and not allowing them, to actually have a say so. I'm jumping over the thing here, say so, and it says to receive gender affirming care. I don't know what that means. Gender affirming care, whatever that means. It means something, I guess. But yeah, Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Rico, you there?
I said before, that's the hard part about being a conservative black man. Now I get what Badger was doing. Badger was reading the complete bill, but he got to understand you were addressing that issue.
Yes.
And he acknowledged that was part of the issue, so the other stuff shouldn't have came up. But now you did ask what was that gender affirming, whatever. That's the mental part of it, to get the therapy, so you can really have an understanding. But now, I ain't gonna lie, I love California, man, but that's one of the things I don't love about California. Sometimes things can be a little bit too liberal, a little bit too free. I like a little balance. I like a little limitation. You just can't, don't just keep on crossing the line. But see, it seems like California might be the place where anything you want to try, any desire that you have, you can come to California and do it. You know, they don't have any limits on freedom. But you know what really struck me? Teresa came in and killed it, man.
Yes.
She came in and dropped a bunch of points.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to get back on having our black agenda, like Ice Cube was trying to do. But maybe, you know, not use as many celebrities or something, I don't know. But she said something key. And when you first brought this up, the first thing that came to my mind was, how would they afford it?
Mm-hmm.
You know how much it would take for them to get to California? So then, you know what I mean? I might be a conspiracy theorist, man. I might be sort of paranoid schizophrenic, man. But sometimes I could go all the way to the worst case scenario and understand, see the worst vulnerabilities, and then see who would benefit from it. And what I'm going to say is, man, that you got a lot of undercover pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
Only a pedophile would be willing to accept or believe that a child can think like that. What, these kids can't even get driver's license till they're 16, can't vote till they're 18, can't drink till they're 21.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? But now you're giving them the power and authority to say, I'm going to go all the way from Alabama to California, which is very expensive, and get this reassignment and get this therapy to confirm that what I'm thinking is right. Said something huge, man. Listen, when we were children, not only were we curious, but we had a huge imagination. And if you didn't have the right type of guidance, you might jump off of something that was too high because you thought you were Superman and you could fly.
Come on.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that imagination. And so that's the reason why people can't drive till they're 16, because they're not mature enough. That's the reason why people can't vote or can't get can't get alcohol to a certain age, because they're not responsible enough. They're immature.
Mm-hmm.
They might still be caught up in their childish imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so, to give that, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm more concerned with the agenda of a pedophile, because one thing about it, somebody going to have to fund these kids getting from where they are to California to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering who already lined up in place to fund that.
Yep.
Because it ain't going to be free.
No, not at all.
And them surgeries ain't free. And if you know anything like I know it, man, I've been noticing this for like the past 25 years. Man, that LGBT community got a lot of money floating around in it, man. I don't even know how they can afford to do all them surgeries. Some of them jokers don't even really work like that.
Mm-hmm.
I keep wondering how they get that money.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff ain't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the parental rights thing, man, it's another attack on parental rights.
Absolutely.
Badger was right about the talking points. You know, this may be a conservative talking point, but this is one conservative talking point that I legitimately support, because I do not agree with this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever secret pedophile group is behind this, that's willing to pay for these young children or young adults or adolescents with imaginations that have not matured yet to come clean across the United States.
Yep.
And get something done like that. They ain't nothing but a bunch of pedophiles, man. They deviants. There's a whole lot of sexual deviants, not only running Hollywood and running California and running the media industry, but running the world. Whether we want to admit it or not, man, there's a lot of Roman-minded white male pedophile, want to molest little boy type of men running this nation, running this world.
Wow.
I don't know if people remember the cowboy scandal that they had up in Congress. I think this was during Bush or right after Reagan and right before Bush. During that time, they had the congressional cowboy scandal. Got swept up under the rug. So you know, man, this is some sick stuff, man. And people might not look at it like me, but I'm looking at the basic end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Legally, they might pass it, but I'm trying to think how these kids gonna get the money to get to California to get this done, and who gonna pay for it?
Exactly.
508. Who is funding it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Man, what are you hearing? What's on your heart behind this whole situation, Leonard? What are you hearing in this?
What's the situation, Raheem?
The situation about California allowing the kids, the minors, to go there and have without the parents' consent, have a sex change if they so desire to do so?
I think it's a little far-fetched the way you're explaining it.
That's what it says. That's what it says in what I read.
You are prepared, you don't have to go nowhere.
Say it again.
So this is about California, I'm assuming.
No, well, they're saying that people could come from different places. They name Alabama, Texas, and different states that you could come to California. A child could come to California, and like Rico said, there's an issue how are they going to get there? But if they do get there, if they make it to California, they don't have to have their parents' consent to have a sex change.
I'm not really sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I know what the bill states.
Mm-hmm.
But how people are going to do whatever they're going to do is going to be an individual basis. Now, I don't put so much thought to it or worry myself about it, because first of all, I'm not going, and I'm not paying for nobody to go, and I don't participate in such things. However, the bill that bill is centered around gender affirming health care, and I believe the bill also uses the same meaning for gender affirming. Now, an actual sex change that you mentioned, I don't know how that's possible at all. Because one, it has to be, like you said, there has to be a way that the child would access insurance or pay for it out their pocket or whatever they're going to do.
And I think that was Rico's point. I think that was Rico's point. How are they going to pay for it? But go ahead.
Right. But this whole thing about fear of this issue. First of all, this is California's law. You still parent your children. I don't know what this has to do with you parenting your children.
My concern, and I don't want to be serious about it, but my concern is right here. If little Jimmy go to California, little Jimmy, you don't want him to come back from California Jane, and that's the issue right there, because a child of that age don't have the maturity to know, like I think somebody said earlier, who they are. I think it was Teresa. She said she's 50 years old and she don't really know exactly who she is. So how could a child know who he or she is and make that determination or make that decision?
Oh, okay, yeah. Now, if you're just talking about the decision, no. Wait till you're an adult. You can do whatever you want to do. But to relate this in a way without talking about parenting makes no sense. Y'all kids just leave y'all house and go to California?
I hope not.
Okay, I didn't think so. So first of all, this deals with those people already in California, and this is what these folks are doing there in California. I think that bill addresses aiding and abetting and things of that nature. Of like, say, for instance, if somebody here in Georgia leaves to go to California, does Georgia still have jurisdiction over the person because they're a resident of Georgia, but they're going to California to get a service that's not legal in Georgia?
I don't think that
sounds a lot like how they used to do slaves.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, little, but I don't think that if they go to California, you can't stop them, and they coming back. Yeah, they're coming back to Georgia, but the procedure that they had was in California.
I can stop going to California.
No. I'm talking about the government. I'm not talking about the parent. I understand that part. I'm talking about the state. That's kind of wishy-washy there a little bit. It's a lot tied into this whole thing. The whole thing to me is wishy-washy, even to be in a situation where you even considering something like this is, to me, is wishy-washy. Right. But it is what it. I wanted to go to Navy. I think we just lost Navy. I wanted to go to her and get her input on it. So Navy, if you have an opportunity, certainly give us a call back and let's talk about this situation. Let me go to Captain. Captain, what's on your heart?
Well, I'm listening, and it's really, as Mike Tyson would say, very ludicrous. Ludicrous. it's really insane, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
I don't know what the person's or the people's motive that was developing that bill. I don't know what the intent. I'm sure they had something behind it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening prior to all of the great conversations, and we have to be reminded. Let's be reminded. If we're living in America, and it seems, now this is me talking, it seems that there is a serious growing mentality of white supremacy. This thing, of white supremacy, seems to be picking up momentum. Then the mindset, listen, family, of a white supremacist is to live in an all-white society. If we're seeing this kind of mindset, then what about the people who are not white? Do we become a liability? Do we become a hindrance to the white establishment of an all-white nation? So the possibility, as we talk about Lebrinsky, I heard that it's easier to kill 1 million people than to feed 1 million people. Could it be a real mindset that we don't know to eliminate the growing rise of the darker people in America, which is the black and the brown? If they see us begin to rise up, even in our ignorant state, that is perceived as a threat. And the powers to be, whether it's political, whether it's the Supreme Court, they go to work to dismantle the possibility of us rising up, to have the nerve. And what frightens them the most, dear family, that we're talking about taking it to the United Nations. Oh my God. They woke up. They're talking about taking it to, we can't have that.
Yes.
So throw a few Uncle Toms and Thomasinas into the race. They got to deter that rail. So we have people talk about in California. So you know what they do? You know what the racists do? They line them up. They line themselves up with the LGBT community to get more momentum on their side. That's how I see it. I could be wrong. But the bottom line, there is a sick. I heard somebody say it's Sodom and Gomorrah. That's exactly what it is. It is a sick mindset, and God, I do believe, is going to do away with all this madness. That's it.
Good deal. Brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, doing
DKM Radio, Morning Glow, panel, listening audience, Facebook, and everybody else all around the world listening in to DKM Radio, Morning Glow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what do you think about this whole California bill? Does it make any sense to you?
I just tuned in. I may have missed the California bill is.
Well, what they're saying is a child could actually come to California from wherever they are, come to California. And if they so decide to have a sex change, they don't have to have their parents' consent. They would allow them to have their sex change in California without parents' consent.
A child.
Yes.
And they need parents' consent. So we're talking about 16 and younger, more than likely.
No, actually, we're talking about 9, 10, 11.
All right. I think that's insanity. I don't know who would even approve of some nonsense like that. A 9-year-old making a drastic decision like that for the rest of their life. I mean, they would have to show me first that they know how to wipe their behind and not have skid marks in their underwear to even qualify to be included in the conversation at 9. Are you serious? This just goes to show the lunacy, the ignorance, the foolishness, the degradation, and the demonstrative devilment in mentality and operation in this society. What are you focusing on? a child getting a sex change. Child needs to get education. Child needs clean water to drink and clean air to breathe and healthy food to eat and a safe environment to develop themselves in so they can be a whole being. And let them become a full being and they can make those decisions on their own. They don't need you, the state, or nobody else to decide for them a life decision like that. They can come to that conclusion on their own when they get offside to do that. We got more pressing things to deal with here in this country and certainly in California, burning constantly down California. Why don't y'all learn how to put some sprinkler systems out there in the rural areas and stop letting half your state burn down every year?
Exactly.
Or deal with all them homeless folks you got all over Oakland. You got more. You got some other more pressing issues that you need to deal with in California instead of worrying about a healthy, normal human being that may want to decide to change their sexual orientation. Let them decide that later. But them homeless, they need some shelter and food and water and soap now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that forest that's on fire need a whole lot of something to stop it from burning down before it bleed on off into Arizona somewhere. Come on now.
Exactly. We're going to go in this order right here. We're going to go Annette, Cassandra, then we're going to go to Kurt, then we're going to circle our way back around. So everybody be patient. I'm definitely coming to each and every one of you. Annette, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
Now, Annette, what do you think about this bill California is talking about passing that they say will be passed in January 2023?
Child abuse. Child abuse. Child abuse. It's a trick and a trap of the enemy to further produce debauchery, and the people should not have that. The people should do everything that they can, and the legislators who are voting for something like that, they should be accountable. They should absolutely be accountable, and we need to find out who are all the lobbyists, who are for this. This makes no sense, but I'll tell you this. You know what? I bind that spirit in the name of Jesus, and I ask that Black America, White America, Mexican America, whoever you are, you know what? Go to church, find your spiritual life, so that you won't succumb to the devil.
Wow.
That's what I say about that.
Good deal. Cassandra, Kurt, coming to you next.
Well, I'm just gonna reiterate what the brother said. A child that can't wipe their butt and don't leave skid marks don't need to be making no decision. I love that. That was a great one. Yeah, they don't need to be making those kind of decisions. And California, I love California as well, but they do go to the extreme sometimes, and they're wanting people to be free. That's that California mindset. Live, love. They still got that 60s vibe in California. Yeah, flower child. Let's just be free, run naked, whatever. Let's do it. But I think that's a.
That puff pass is legal in California. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, it's on and popping in California. You can sit in your room, your Airbnb, and order your marijuana right to the door. They bring it right to your door. Ding dong.
Exactly.
Delivery.
You need a lighter?
They go a bit far in California.
Wow. Do you need a lighter? We got lighters in the car too,
I'm serious. Yeah. Anyway, let me get off that.
Let me go to Kurt, Badger, and then Donna. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm gonna go in a different direction, man. I can't speak on that because number one, I don't know who wrote the article.
Well, it actually, it's a bill. It's a bill they're about to pass. But go ahead.
I'm talking about the bill.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the article for which you are reading.
Okay.
Because see, what has happened is, first and foremost, let me just throw something out here. We live in an age where we don't have reporters anymore. We have pundits. And these very same pundits are writing these op-ed articles. And I'm not saying that the article is right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But what I'm saying is a pundit, for the most part, in most cases, will write an article with a bias of opinion. So I don't know if the person who wrote that article pulled certain things out of the bill and said, this is what the bill is. This is what the bill is. It's funny to me that they led with the negative first. And that's the only thing they told you about that's in the bill, without telling you that there's a multitude of other things in the bill. Now, I do know from political punditry that it's a tactic that's been being used forever and a day. Forever and a day. Any issue, I told y'all 2 years ago, I told the listening public, I said, listen, this party pretty much tackles a 3-issue thing. Every single election. Second Amendment, sex. Second Amendment, sex, and there's a third. Racial disparity. Oh, no, my bad. Second Amendment, sex, and crime. That's their whole platform. And they do it every single election season, and people fall for it all the time. So I'm not going to comment, one, because I have a dog in that fight. My son is LGBTQ. Right? And if he makes the decision that that's what he's going to do, even though I don't like it, I love him. So I'm going to love what decision he made. Now, the idea that any doctor in his right frame of mind who took a Hippocratic oath would perform a surgery such as that on a 9-year-old kid is preposterous.
Okay.
He took an oath.
Exactly.
That's preposterous. We also lose in touch of the fact that, don't forget, San Francisco was the capital. It was the homosexual capital of the world at one point. When AIDS first came out, not saying that AIDS is a homosexual disease, because it's not, that was a lie too. But when AIDS first hit, where did it hit first? It hit San Francisco. So they might have passed a law that governs the people for which they have. Now, I heard somebody say earlier, where this money coming from? Well, I don't want to upset the apple cart here, but I'm going to upset the apple cart when I say this. The LGBTQ community is the only community on the planet that has a representation in every level of society.
Okay.
If you really think about it, the LGBTQ community has a representative setting at every level in society. The extremely wealthy to the extremely poor. From the extreme Black Pan African Black Panther Party to the extreme white nationalist movement.
Good deal. Okay. I'm gonna play this clip, and I have not heard this clip, so y'all bear with me for a second. It's a clip about the bill itself. Pulled this off of YouTube. It's on CBN News. Here you go. Let's just play it.
California, SB 107 could make the state a safe haven for out-of-state children who want transgender surgery or procedures. It would give the state's courts temporary emergency jurisdiction over these children. Aaron Friday, Aaron Friday is an attorney with Parents of ROGD Kids. That stands for Parents of Rapid Onset Gender Dysphoria. She's also one of the concerned California citizens opposing this bill. She talked with our Heather Sells about her concerns.
Can y'all
I
hear
want
it?
to ask you, this bill would take away parents' rights to guide their children in some fundamental ways. Tell us what that might look like.
Well, in its essence, this bill permits children, minors, to come to California and get gender interventions without parental consent. This bill goes way beyond what the author has stated the purpose is, which is to create a sanctuary state for minors to get gender affirming care. What it does is, if a child can get to California, that child can then become a product of foster care or emancipated in the state of California, which will give that child the ability to dictate his or her own gender interventions.
So for a child who wants, say, a double mastectomy, but their parents don't agree, under this bill, would they be able to come to California and just chart their own medical path, if you will?
Potentially, yes. Because once they land in California, the California courts get jurisdiction over that child. So the parents in another state will have to come to California to fight for custody of that child and control over that child.
Wow.
And of course, here in California, the courts are extremely open and captured with the gender ideology. And so they look at any parent that is forbidding a child from getting gender interventions as being a poor parent. In fact, here in California, there have been many instances of parents losing custody of their child just because they won't affirm their child by doing gender interventions.
So interesting. So around this particular bill, what kind of interest are you seeing? Who's for it? Who's against it?
Well, thus far, all of the Democrats are voting for it. And I say that with hesitation and sorrow because I'm a registered Democrat. The Democrats who are like me, who are rational thinking, we're all against this, but the politicians seem to just want to ignore us.
So it sounds like there's somewhat of a bipartisan coalition around this then. If there's some Democrats like yourself who are concerned, Republicans who are concerned, are you seeing kind of a mixture of people coming together?
Yes, as far as the regular public that is fighting this, it is Democrats, independents, Republicans, all raising the alarm. However, the politicians are voting across party lines. They are absolutely ignoring their constituents and their concerns.
I want to ask you, you have a child who did for a period of time express a transgender identity. What is it like being a parent of a child who's going through this?
Well, it's terrifying, and it's more so in a democratic state because, as I said, one can lose custody of their child for not calling their child by the child's desired name. That happened.
Wow. Could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear that?
Yeah, we heard. I heard.
Okay,
I heard.
okay.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, and see that, and that's the part I was talking about. That's the part I was talking about right there, where is the bill itself. And this young lady, she's actually a part of that whole California thing. And we got. I think we have Paul with us as well. I'm going to talk to him. But it's talking about giving that child once they step foot on the grounds of California, they become quote unquote a ward of the state. So that give them the freedom that if they want to have that sex change, they can do it. Badger, what's on your heart?
Now, after reading the bill and hearing what that person's saying, I understand the concerns. And I even made a comment to that earlier, that it needs to be more fine-toothed. like fine combed, because like part of the bill is saying that the the state could get temporary emergency jurisdiction, and then it needs to be determined if the child has been abused, mistreated, or things of that nature, which that would have to be proven. I don't see how a child would be able to even get a plane ticket underage, much less a bus ticket or anything else. So I don't even know how that would happen to begin with. I guess it does, but it's probably extremely rare. I agree with the person that was talking. It's not. It doesn't have enough specifics, or like how I told you, there's no age on it. Nowhere on the bill does it state an age. I agree with mental health access, but if part of the medical health, the other, not the mental health part, but the other part is also including being able to have those actual changes, I don't agree with. There should be an age limit. So I don't feel there's enough details properly. What is the word for that? Done in such a way that with the way the bill is right now, what that woman is saying, her and many other people are concerned about, I honestly think that could happen.
Well,
unfortunately,
they're saying it's going to happen, and they have a date on it. January 2023 is when they say it's going to be active and it's going to be in place. And so that to me is the very concerning part. Let me go to Donna, and then I'm gonna go to Paul. Donna, what's on your heart, sis?
Hey, Raheem. I mean, that's something that is really unbelievable. But then it's got to be some pedophiles somewhere helping make those laws. Because kids, how you gonna tell me who you are and what you want to do, and you ain't even old enough to vote? You're not even old enough to drive. You're not old enough to do any of that. At that age, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I'm telling you who you are. How you going to tell me who you are at that age when you're not even old enough to make the decisions that grown folks make? But then you're going to tell me that you can do that, and then there are laws that govern that and say, yes, it can happen, and they can take my parental rights away if I don't agree with that?
Wow.
That's crazy all the way around. I guarantee you it's some pedophiles in there somewhere. I have a whole lot more to say, but I'm going to let that be.
Paul, what's on your? Good morning, Paul. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
There?
We've talked about this with some of my friends. I have one friend who's a real hardcore Republican, but he supports trans stuff, trans, kids and all this, and gone back and forth on it. And I think my feeling on it is it's a manipulation, sort of. You kind of go into conspiracy theories and all this. When you get like these issues, I think it's an extraordinarily rare situation when these kids are trans. But then media will blow it into this big, huge issue. Now, like, oh my God, I need to worry about this thing, and it's like, it's a very, very small number of people. But I am concerned about it for sure. I had a student. Say something.
No, go ahead.
I had a student like 3 weeks ago, and I heard some little girls say to him, "Hey, girl," and it's a little boy. And they did it a few times, and I was like, okay. So I asked them about it. I asked one of the girls, well, "Why did you call him a girl?" And they said, "Well, he likes to be called a girl." I go, "Well, he's a boy." And they said, "Well, he wants to be a girl when he grows up."
Wow.
And I'm like, so this is part of what I guess maybe call a social contagion. It's like because of social media and all these things now, TikTok, people see all these things, and then they think, oh, well, if you feel different, now, does that mean you have to be this other thing? There's not enough, people are only getting part of the facts. That's the problem with social media. They get the part of the fact, like with the Pelosi thing. You know, they get this little factoid, and they're like, they run with it and create a conspiracy theory. Oh, that stuff's been debunked. It's already been debunked immediately. But people think because they heard a little fact, they're like an expert on it now. So I'm very concerned because it's going to drive Democrat voter, like that lady. She's a Democrat voter. She hopefully she's not going to like, oh, well, I'm a Trumper now because of trans kids or whatever. You know, well, this is the problem because, you know, a lot of us are, you know, I have some conservative points of view, as many of people on this show have certain conservative points of view. Doesn't mean we hate gay people, doesn't mean we hate trans people, but, you know, we have concerns. So, yeah, it's dangerous though. It's dangerous for our politics that we're this polarized, and people think, oh, I have to agree with everything that my party says, whatever.
Exact. Good deal. We're gonna go in this order right here. We're going to Rico, Leonard, Joseph, and then K with the E. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I'm listening to everybody, man, but I sort of got a little distracted, man. I'm in shock, man. Man, they're killing these rappers, man. Woo. They're killing these rappers, man. Go on to the next person on this topic, man. I just saw this. Somebody just hit me and asked me, was this true? And I just seen it was true, man. And I don't know what's going on with our community, man, but these rappers are endangered species now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
it's true, though.
Wow. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Just listen to what people are saying, and it's one reason why I guess people really need to get involved in what's going on and find out what's going on, because, like I say, this affects those people who live that type of lifestyle. And your job as a parent is to parent your children. So the issue to me stands out more so with parenting. Because one, that particular bill that we're talking about just in California, there's a lot of things in that bill, the definitions and things like that, that they use because they have a child information, some type of child welfare institution code as it relates to how it goes in California, and people need to be aware of that. However, you still can parent your child properly. Like I said, for people in California who live these lifestyles this way, this is not uncommon for them. But you have to also think about it. Are you more so concerned? Because no one's forcing you to do anything. And it always ain't about pedophilia and all of that. These kids are bringing this phenomenon of this transgender identity thing. Is something going on with children. So we have to be sure that these children are getting all of the information and education related to these different types of behaviors. Now, California is going to take it to the extreme, of course. But let's not always act as if somebody is molested or anything else. These are children that go to school every day, decent children who have these feelings. And when they're kids, when you allow your emotions to lead you, this is how you get caught up in those things. But you still have the ability to parent.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, and I would never say that you don't have the ability to parent. I would definitely agree with that. But at the same time, you also got to understand that these children, sometimes they make these harsh decisions all of a sudden, and before you know it, you find yourself dealing with an issue that you shouldn't have to really deal with at that particular point in time. But it's so many different layers of this thing. And you're right. Another thing you said that was right. California gonna push the envelope, brother. That's just what they're gonna do. Joseph, what's
right? Because we have to remember that there are people with different agendas all over the place.
Oh yeah.
They don't. Your state ain't no better than another person's state. It's just that some states are very, very much concerned about prioritizing certain agendas.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that it's big, as Kurt mentioned, San Francisco and things of this nature that has been very welcoming to adults.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I'm not going to sit here and act as if Miss Willard didn't want to say, I believe that was her,
Mm-hmm.
as if Gabrielle Union and Wade are pedophiles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we need to stop trying to throw that on there as well.
What Donna said was is child abuse. Categorize that as being child abuse.
No, that's another thing. I don't just throw words out. Child abuse already has a definition.
Okay.
We are talking about people supposedly are willing and desire this. We're not talking about people forced to do it. And also, you have to understand that, like Kurt mentioned as well, there's a Hippocratic oath as it relates to these types of things.
Okay, hold right there for a second.
And it has a lot. This bill has a lot to do with foster care.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold right there. Let's keep the circle rotating. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? And K with the E coming to you next. And that you after K.
Well, I'm hearing some very good points being made. 9 years old, we've all been kids before,
Mm-hmm.
so none of us can deny what it was like growing up, with various feelings and thoughts, and our minds think about things, but one brother said the child needs more information, and I think that's a part of parenting, is to make sure our children understand all the information about said feelings and and the challenges and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't sound like a good bill, and I agree with Paul. That gives the opposition more ammunition, if you will.
Yeah.
In this big struggle, in the bigger struggle,
Mm-hmm. In a big scheme of it
we,
all.
We can't afford to be one-dimensional or one-issue people.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't want nobody to rob me of my parental rights over my child, especially if they're 9 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if somebody who didn't mean well got the child to California, and that's going to go down because humans are like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one size fit all. Everybody don't have good intentions. In fact, there are pedophiles out there that are very crafty,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been in the news,
Wow. Yeah.
many times.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that they aren't would be naive. But I don't think that's what my brother was saying. But I think we have to be mindful that there are those who want to take the LGBT agenda to another extreme.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think we got the extreme side and left.
Yeah.
Some on the left go too far to the left. Some on the right go too far to the right. So we got extremists on both ends of the spectrum, and we have to be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't want to be sidetracked or distracted from the main issues that affect millions of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be distracted from that. I know individually there are certain issues that people are concerned about and care about, and we should be sympathetic or empathetic, as best we can, to try to understand what their needs are. I think at the end of the day, we should not want to discriminate against anyone or do harm to any marginalized people. They're already marginalized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good.
So I don't want to be guilty of inflicting more harms on other marginalized groups.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be guilty of that.
Okay.
I don't want to participate in everything that everybody wants to do. Personally.
Yeah.
I don't want no one to think that my concern is condoning or anything like that. It's just my concern that as a person, that human being is being treated according to the way they want to be treated. We all have free will.
Exactly. Good deal.
And I believe God could override all of our will if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't, or she doesn't, or somebody say it does, or that powerful, that great spirit does not do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I said like that. You know, I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, and you know, I'm fully aware of the patriarchal language in the Bible, and I understand how that has wounded females and undermined the females' humanity. So I respect that. I can understand that.
Got to keep it moving.
I'm looking to get to a place where we can all, you know, meet somewhere on common ground.
Good. Got to keep it moving, Joseph. Hold right there for a second. Let me go to K with an E, and then that coming to you next. K, what's on your heart, sis? K, you there? Her and that doggone mute button. Might have to come back to her because she can't find it. Been had the phone for 10 years. Still can't find the mute button. Lord, my Jesus. And that, talk to me, and that, what's on your heart?
What's on my heart as we go to another subject. That is truly depressing. You know, that is depressing. For this region, California, I think it has everything to do with parents sacrificing their children. And to me, that should be a crime. I mean, that should really be a crime. I think a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl. And you raise them that way. You know, if the young boy growing up's got a sister and you see that boy touching that doll, you better slap it out of their hands. I mean, I just believe that parenting is rough. It's hard. I got a baby girl that's turning 23 today, and I'm just so thankful.
Yes, Lord.
But, you know, I had to teach her the same way I teach my 22-year-old, that there are just certain areas that you're going to be a part of. And I just think that this in California, it's the greatest, to me, it's the greatest crime to humanity to try to be God, and at the same time, a mockery of God, to say that, you know what, you aren't the creator. I'm the creator, and I can change at any time.
Wow.
And I denounce it. I denounce it.
Amen.
Hey, that's what I will say. And I'm from Los Angeles, California. Born and raised, had an amazing childhood. And just an amazing childhood. And so I think this is the last stint of people working to steer children into the largest question mark about who they were born to be and what their purpose is.
Wow. Let's go to Willa, then we're going to go to Captain. Willa, what's on your heart?
Raheem.
Yes.
You know, I was just talking to my nephew about parenting. You know, we're nobody knows the perfect way to parent, but we do know one thing. We do know as a parent, we try to find the best resources that we can in order to guide our children. First of all, we struggle. We struggle as parents. And then, you know, yesterday when we talked about, I think one day we talked about America being safe. This is what we're talking about. Things that are in place that take away from the very things that God has given us. He's given us the right as parents to guide our children and not our children guiding us. And that's what's going on today, Raheem. If you look at the world today, the children have switched places with the parents. And you can tell just in a simple thing of eating now. It used to be the parent cooked the food and you sit down and eat. Now the kids are saying, I don't want that. I want something else. I want McDonald's. And you know what we do? What you want? Let me see if my car out there. Really? That's what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't the world go in that direction? You got some of the same thinking people in Congress thinking the same way, making same, and you don't even, y'all been to California. Come on now.
Yeah.
The land of the free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what's on my heart right there.
Good deal. Cap, talk to me. Talk to me, sir.
Well, really just ain't too much more to say, man. I mean, it's absolutely everybody expressed. I think they all put a piece to this puzzle, and I think the growing majority on this line feel that it's really outlandish. It's really a crazy bill. I mean, part of it we're dealing with, but I think we have to get back to the original intent of we have to build back the strong families again. You know, everybody knows that the family is the foundation of a great nation.
Yes. And
we have to get back to rebuilding the family. I just heard Willa say, you know, that, you know, look at where we at. She's absolutely right. I mean, we had no say-so what Mama was going to put in the pot. And we had no say-so in what was going to go in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time to eat, we didn't say, I don't want that. Can you? Man, you ate what was put on the table.
Exactly. You better eat it.
Gonna be
hungry if you don't. Gonna be hungry if you don't eat it.
You gonna be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no question about that. But we got to get back because we have allowed government. We have allowed government to come into our homes and dictate to us as parents how we should govern our own family.
Mm-hmm.
We have allowed the media, social media. You don't have nothing to say. What about you parents that tell your children are getting on your nerves? You give them an iPad and tell them to go in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't care about all the video games. You didn't know that what you were doing, you were giving up your rights as a parent.
Yes.
To these kind of social games. You didn't know that. Now your children is on TikTok and you can't do nothing about it. Now they're on Instagram, Facebook, and you can't do nothing about it. That is governing the children today, not the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents don't even know how to take the phone away. You take the phone away from your child, you might as well get ready to go to jail because there's going to be a fight. They're going to cuss you out. So now we got them hooked up on an iPhone. You got a 9-year-old kid with an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody now is being governed by the government.
Yeah.
So Big Brother has absolutely stepped into the home and took control of our families. We have to get back to building the family again. The family is the foundation of a great nation. If we allow government or politics to come into our home and dictate to us as parents what we should do, then as our sister said, we have disrespected God's law.
Yes.
Because we don't need man's law to tell us what we should do if we follow God's law.
Mm-hmm.
And God's law is a perfect law.
Yes. Come on.
But we may not like God's law because it becomes contrary to some of the things we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we got to get back to God's law. And every time we say, God say, this is what we don't do, government say, oh, no, you can do it. If God say don't do this, government comes in and says, oh, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now look what we got.
A mess.
The whole world turned upside down, inside out. We don't know normal from abnormal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have to get back to making the family what it used to be and get government out of our homes. And that means get off of TikTok, get off Facebook, get off Instagram, get these contraptions out of your home, turn off the television and spend more time reading. Oh, that's gonna be a hard one now. I
Yes,
know
sir.
it's gonna be hard.
Absolutely.
But that's my opinion. Thank you for allowing me the voice there, brother.
Absolutely. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Cassandra, talk to me. Cassandra? Cassandra, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Brother Pete, talk to me, sir. Pete, you there? Okay, they might have stepped away from me as well. Might have stepped away. Badger, talk to me, Badger. What's on your heart, brother?
Well, I was sitting here thinking, you know, what we're discussing and everything. And there's a lot of aspects to it, or at least in my view. Because I feel that right now there's a lot of rebellion going on because folks feel lost.
Mm-hmm.
When they're stressed out, overwhelmed, don't know what to do, which direction to go, you know, trying to figure it out, they're met with either laws or people that are very biased, very closed-minded. So a lot of people are surrounded by dislikes and hate for being different, for being a different color, for whatever reason. You know, so to me, making sure that children have a good home, access to good medical care is a huge contributing factor. Once again, I'll use Texas as an example. If you make, I think, over $1,200 or $1,500, your kids don't qualify for health insurance through the state anymore. For a 4-person home.
Wow.
I'll have to double check to see if they actually updated it. They should have, but it's Texas, who knows? So there are a lot of families that are doing the best that they possibly can or think that they can. And they're struggling. They don't know which direction to go. Kids are surrounded by all kinds of stuff nowadays. Education system is trash in my eyes. They don't teach half the stuff that they used to. If you are of certain beliefs, you're criticized or condemned still. So that we lived in a confused country.
Wow.
And it sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah. And with this whole thing, if the bill was more fine-toothed to go from this age below, it's mental health. From once they become, you know, what's considered an illegal adult, voila. You're an adult. If you want to make that choice, do so. But let's focus on your mental health.
Good deal.
So,
gotta get out of here, Badger.
Why is that such a problem?
I have no idea, brother. Have no idea. But I understand your point, though. Let me go to Kirk. Kirk, real quickly, brother. What's on your heart? Kirk, you there?
I'm right here.
Okay, quickly, brother. What's on your heart? We gotta get out of here.
I just, you know, let's think about the prodigal son, man. You know, for your kids that's grown, you know, sometimes you're just gonna have to cut the cord and they're gonna have to learn on their own like we had to learn. You know, you know, I hate to say it like that, you gotta trust As a parent, you got to trust that, hey, look, I taught this young man or this young girl everything that I could have possibly taught them to prepare them for the world for which they're ready to go into. I think this whole conversation was wasted time. Personally, I think it was wasted time. I think you got a party that is the gift that keep on giving. Because the truth be told, you wasn't even supposed to. Man, don't listen. You don't give your enemy ammunition. But you know, they chose to do whatever they chose to do, which I think, given the state itself, the state that we talking about, I think that was a political move to gain votes. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not sitting at the table, because had I been sitting at the table, I would have told them, no. Y'all, you do that after the. Don't put that up there. But I mean, the Democratic Party is the gift that just constantly gives. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't say, man.
And my thing is, I think a conversation that is not had is wasted time. I think that once you come together and there's an issue and you sit down and you have a open and honest conversation and discussion about it, I think it's very productive. And hopefully everybody could walk away, us and as well as our listeners could walk away with something. So I certainly don't think it was wasted time. I think it was time well spent and something that we really needed to talk about, because some people didn't even know that it existed. I got quite a few people say, man, I didn't hear nothing about that. I didn't know about that. I'm glad y'all talking about that. So with that being said, I certainly don't think it was wasted time. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today?
Hey, Curtis said something big, man, but I disagree with him a little bit when he said that we taught our kids everything that everything that we could. We had a celebrity, Tom Hanks, said that he was disappointed that he didn't know about Black Wall Street.
Exactly.
And many young people that I asked about Juneteenth a couple of years ago didn't have a clue what it was about. They just knew that when we had the festival, how much fun it was, because their parents told them that. Ooh, it was turned up. We used to have a good time. Everybody used to be out there. So then we speak about race on the application and how many Black people are saying, well, you know what? It really ain't no need for that no more. Racism don't exist. Those were the old days, and it ain't the way it used to be. I don't want to die. I don't want to put down whether I'm Black or white. But somehow, through generations, we did not teach them the reason why the EEOC exists and why civil rights was fought for and why you had to put the race on the application. That was a necessity and a reason. So we think we have taught them everything we need to. But we know in this day and time, it's so hard to survive and keep up with the hustle and bustle of everyday life that quality time is not there for us to really teach them like we should. They're learning more and they're getting more influence from outside sources than we realize. But we think we have taught them everything. So we can't really let them go as soon as we think we can. I just want to clear that up.
Absolutely.
You know, we are in a day and time now where we really don't have the opportunity to raise and rear our children the way our grandparents and great grandparents did.
That's good.
You don't have enough time, so you can't afford to. But that being said, if you missed today's broadcast and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal. Brother Pete, are you with us? Brother Pete. Brother Pete, you still there? Okay, let me see who we got. Curtis.
Yeah, what's up?
Willa had to step away, man. She's actually in a doctor's meeting right now. So I'm gonna get you to pray us out today, brother. Pray us out.
All right. With all hearts and minds clear, most gracious and heavenly Father, we come before your throne of grace, your throne of mercy, your throne of understanding. Not asking you for anything, but thanking you for all things. Father, we thanking you for breathing the breath of life in our bodies. Father, we thanking you for just allowing for us to rest sound. Father, we thanking you for just placing the knowledge and the words into our minds, God. God, you told us that when two or more are gathered, you are in the midst. God, we thanking you for showing up and showing out. We thanking you for when you sent the Holy Ghost down the road of justice you allow for him to stop here. Father, we thanking you for continuing to place on our hearts and in our minds that which is just to be just. Father, we thank you for allowing for us to stand up and say the things that you place in our minds eloquently, clearly. Father, we thanking you for the Morning Glow show, for just providing us a platform to speak freely and say what we feel is right. Father, we thanking you for all these things, for we know that without you, nothing can be accomplished. Without you, no man can stand. Without you, no mind can think. Father, we thanking you for all the things that you have done, all the things that you are doing, and all the things you got planned to do in the future. We thanking you right now in the mighty name of Yeshua. I say this prayer. Let's all say amen. Amen. And amen.
Amen. Amen. Been a great broadcast. I definitely want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:08. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now, we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Talk to you later on tonight for Real Men Being Men. Join us. Love you. Take care of each other and be blessed.